Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna come. Okay, link, share. Okay, let's wait for Jerry to join. Okay, in the meantime, let me share my screen. Okay, let me check with Jerry on WhatsApp if he's joining. Okay, I see he's not responding yet, so maybe we can start. In the meantime, did you manage to create that practical exercise regarding the phishing emails? Okay, okay, no problem. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, okay. Um, so you're doing SC 900 as well? Yes. Uh, okay. Yeah, the only difference is that SC 900 has practical tools. Security Plus, it's more, it's vendor neutral. It's not a specific vendor like Microsoft or yeah. So now so at work we are busy with this DLP. Let me open this screen here. Did I give you an exercise on DLP yet or not? Uh, okay, that's fine. I'll give it to you later. That's fine. Okay, it's fine. I'll give you this exercise later. So on my side, I'm doing this certificate here, CISSP. I have to write this end of July. Yeah. Um, at least you need 5 years experience working. Yeah. Yeah. No, this one is more. Yeah, more advanced. This one. There's a lot of things. Okay, it's fine. Jiro will catch up. But regarding Security Plus, I don't know when you're gonna write, but don't wait too long. I'm also going to rewrite this. I've written this before, but I'm gonna do this new one. Um, maybe beginning of July, I'm gonna rewrite this. Then I'll tell you guys exactly what you can expect, what kind of questions, and yeah. Um, I like to find out from some of the people that I work with. I I know that they do learnership sometimes. Sometimes they do like, but usually when they hire people, they start them at IT support, not necessarily, yeah, because they want you to learn other stuff first before you can go into security. Yeah. Yes. Okay, let me see what is Jerry saying. Uh, okay, he's joining. Okay, let's start because Jerry has joined. The other lady, she's not joining us. Okay, today we're going to focus on this one, third party vendor risk. So when you join the earlier class for beginners, we did touch on it a bit, but right now we're going to focus more on the security side regarding this third party vendor risk. So remember, in IT, we do buy a lot of softwares, a lot of hardwares from vendors. So the company that I work for, we buy from Dell, we buy from Microsoft, we buy from different companies, lots of different companies, and we buy physical firewalls. We also buy routers. So we have to do um, assessments of those vendors that we buy from. So we're going to start here. We have to conduct a rigorous supply chain assessment of the vendors that we buy from. So what does this mean basically? It means we need to check if we're buying from reliable sources. Like I said previously, some of these hardware, it can come with embedded malware on it. Basically, they can sell you some firewall that already has been embedded with infected malware. And when you connect it to your company or your systems, it steals all the data. It sends all the data to the hackers. So that's why what is this company from China? Huawei. American companies don't use Huawei devices because they're saying these devices are spying for China. So when you connect this device and you go to the internet or you share whatever information, they're saying that these devices they send all that information to China. So they've decided, the American government have decided that they're not buying anything from Huawei. So any networking equipment, they buy it from uh, they buy from Cisco equipment. Yeah, they buy all of this from Cisco. So this is American anyway. So obviously they have American China. They have a beef. So when we buy from suppliers, we have to check the geographical factors. So are we buying from people who are close by or are far away from us? What if we need support, or what if, for instance, if you're buying Chinese car, BY, what is it, BYD, but only to find out there's no suppliers in terms of parts in the country. So it means you're going to struggle if there's something wrong with your car. So the same thing applies in IT. When you're buying software or when you're buying hardware, you have to check your geographical locations. To Does the company have local suppliers in case there's something wrong with your equipment? Can you take it to a local supplier of that company so that they can fix it? And then we also have to check this regulatory compliance, meaning the company that you're buying from, do they comply with the local laws? meaning in South Africa, are they registered with ICASA? ICASA is this department that manages telecommunication industry in South Africa. So when Elon Musk tries to bring Starlink here in South Africa, he must comply with this ICASA regulations, but he doesn't want to, and then that's why now there's issues. But they're saying they are busy communicating. Maybe they'll bring Starlink. We'll see. So ICASA is the government institution. It manages all the telecommunications industry regulations. And you also have to buy from a reliable supplier. So if you buy IT equipment, try and buy from the source directly if it's possible. Sometimes it's not, so you'll have to buy from a reseller. Maybe there's local companies that import from that reseller and then they resell here locally. Then you'll have to buy from them. So only buy from trusted and safe suppliers. Go for known brands or known companies. Just because something is cheaper doesn't mean it's always going to be the right choice. You might go for to a company that you've never heard of, but because they sell cheaper equipment, you go and buy it only to find out you actually bought equipment which has been infected with malware. And then when it comes to software suppliers, always try and go to the trusted source so that you can get software which is free from malware. And then these MSPs, managed service providers, these are companies that provide, or basically they sell their IT services to other companies. So a company like this, BCX, I think you know this company, Business Connection. This is a managed service provider. So maybe a bank like Reserve Bank or a company like Pick and Pay could hire them to come and look after their systems or to provide some IT services because a lot of companies they want to focus on their core business. So they don't want to focus on doing IT stuff. So for instance, BMW might hire these guys, Business Connections, to say, you come and look after our IT systems and all our IT equipment because we don't want to focus on that. We just want to focus on selling cars. Our business is making cars and selling cars, not doing IT. So this managed service provider basically is where companies outsource to these companies. They outsource their IT requirements to these guys, managed service providers. This one, Dimension Data also was also one of those managed service provider. What's the name of the other one? Kijima is also one of those. MSP. So you can hire them for different things. Maybe if you want help desk, or maybe you're looking for system administrators for 12 months, or you're looking for network engineers to come and help you build a network in your company, maybe for like 2 years, and then they leave, or you want them for a longer period, then you'll sign a contract with one of these companies, managed service providers. So it's a third party company that manages IT services for a company. There are IT services could range from help desk, software developers, system administrators. So we also use them in a company, especially when it comes to this software development. If maybe the company wants to build a new application, they might hire one of these guys, managed service providers, to come and build that software, maybe for a year or two. They'll sign a contract for that time period, and then they'll build that application. Then once they are done, then they leave. So the company will sign a contract with these guys, MSPs, managed service providers. And the main reason for that, why a company wants to outsource, because they want to focus on their core business. They don't want to do with, or they don't want to deal with IT stuff. They want to focus on their business. Okay. Let's see if this makes sense to you. What are the key factors to consider when conducting rigorous supply chain assessment for hardware? Okay. B. Okay. Yeah, B is correct. And this one, what is an MSP, managed service provider? What does Kijima do, or what does BCX do? Okay. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, let's go to this supply chain attack. So this is a different kind of attack. This is where hackers do not, so the hackers don't attack like the main target directly. They go after their suppliers so that they can reach the main target. So how would they do that? Basically, I gave an example where they would resell equipment that they know that you guys as a company buy. So they would try and resell that equipment to your company, but that equipment has or microchips which is embedded with malware on it. They know that once you connect that equipment in your environment or in your company, they'll be able to steal your data. So that's how this supply chain attack works. So they go after your suppliers so that they can reach your organization. So basically, it's when cyber criminals sell counterfeit hardware that is infected and it's designed to steal your data or to spy. So remember, a lot of these hardware devices that we buy in companies, it's manufactured in different countries, so you don't really know what do they do when they manufacture that equipment. You don't know if Huawei, when they manufacture it, if they install malware on those devices, because it's in China. You never know if you buy an Apple, if it has some tracking device or if it's listening to your voice when you're speaking to someone. So you have to buy from countries which have laws and where you can verify that you're buying legitimate equipment. And also, hackers can hack into software supply chain and infect the software that your company buys, right? So there's something called a backdoor. So when software developers design software, they create something called a backdoor, but they create this as an emergency, right? If a software malfunctions or there's something wrong, so that they're able to get to the source code of that software. So that's why they created this backdoor. So if the system crashes or the software crashes, then they know that okay, we've created a backdoor. We can be able to go to the source code and fix it or update it. But that also is a risk because that means hackers can use this backdoor to get into that software. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. For software, it's easier to test and to see. I think the difficult one is hardware because when you buy the hardware, when you connect it and you test it, it will give you the results that you want, but now you won't be able to see if somebody's spying on you because remember it's embedded in the microchip, so it's gonna function like how it's supposed to, but now it's also sending information to the manufacturer, and it's gonna be hard for you to see it if you're not the manufacturer. So when you buy software, you don't have, or when you buy equipment hardware, you don't have full complete access to that hardware like the manufacturer. So that's why sometimes when it breaks down, you try and fix it. You're gonna reach a stage where you are limited on how far you can go. Then you have to go. You have to call for support from the manufacturer to say we're having an issue. Can you assist us here? Then the manufacturer will be able to get deep into that hardware because they are the manufacturers, and then they can assist. So that's where the limitations are. Sure. Okay, this one, safety measures to protect against supply chain attacks. Conduct due diligence. This means do some assessments, um, do testing, investigate the supplier. For software, it's a bit easier. You can test the software. Um, and we have antivirus softwares which can monitor the software and you can see if there's irregular or malicious behavior. And then this one, regular monitoring and audits. So you have to monitor all your equipment and hardware and software that you buy from your supplier. And you also need to have legally binding contracts when you purchase. And the contracts need to have information of what will happen, what are the consequences in terms of if they break the agreement that you have. And before you choose a vendor, you need to do an assessment of that vendor. So if you decide that you're going to buy um, equipment for HR, you're going to buy it from, let's say, Sage, then you need to do an assessment of this software. So you have to evaluate the security, the reliability. Yes, we're gonna test. So currently at the job that I'm doing, when we buy software, I have to do some testing before we even buy. I have to do some testing. So that means I will create a server, no, virtual server, not a physical server, and then I will install that software, and then I will monitor the CPU usage of that software, see how it runs. Then I will add um, some files on that server, monitor the hard drive performance, and I'll also run an antivirus software. So in the company that I work for, we don't use Microsoft for antivirus or anti-malware. We use this one, CrowdStrike, but it works similar. No? So it works similar to Microsoft Defender. Where's Microsoft? Here. Yeah. Yes. Yes. There was. Yeah. There was a big issue. So they had to. I think it was a new update which they were running. I don't know how it didn't function properly. You see, that's why we're talking about doing updates before you doing backup before you do updates. So it affected uh, all the company, a lot of the companies all over the world because it was, yeah, a lot of companies were using or are using that CrowdStrike. So I don't know if they lost customers or not, but yeah, it affected airports and yeah, a lot of issues. So and another thing, I'm not sure if they tested before they did those updates, and because it took them a while before they can recover. So backups are very important. Yeah, but it works the same as similar CrowdStrike and this one Defender. Um, so CrowdStrike, I also had to test it before we purchased it. So I had to do a report, tell them, okay, I've monitored for a week. This is how the CPU was running when it was installed on a server. This is how the so I looked on Task Manager, then I monitor how basically what happens when it scans when CrowdStrike scans the server. Does it use lots of resources like CPU, hardware, networking? How does it work? So all of that information. And then I compare CrowdStrike with another application which we were trying to get as well. What's the name of this one? I can't remember. I can't remember the name. But yeah, so I was comparing those two, CrowdStrike and the other one. And we went for CrowdStrike because the other software that we were looking at, it made the server very slow. So it used too much resources, too much CPU, too much networking, and that's why we went for CrowdStrike. So you have to do this vendor assessment. So remember, a vendor is a company that would sell finished products to another company. So that's the difference between a vendor and a supplier. Supplier is someone who supplies you, and then you use whatever they supply you with to produce something which you're going to sell. You're going to produce a finished product. But a vendor is someone who sells you a finished product. Let's go down here. Conduct penetration testing. So you have to do a penetration testing against the vendor as well. So if we are buying, let's say, new Cisco firewalls, which will look something like this. Yeah, it will look like this. So we'll have to do some penetration testing. So there's different softwares which can be used for that. Right now, in my department, they're looking at this software, Pentera, Pentest. They're testing it. They're testing this one. And this one is automated. So basically, it will automatically look for weaknesses on the system in the company. If maybe there are open ports, if there are accounts which have weak passwords, it will look for things like that. If there are accounts which have been there for a long time and they're not being used by anyone, if okay, okay, all right, let me go back here. So this is very it uses a lot of AI. It's automated. So pen testing basically is you behaving like a hacker to try and see if there are gaps, open doors, and then you try and access the system from there. So this is what the guys are testing right now. And for a pen tester, they're looking for someone who has this certificate. So I don't have the certificate. So the auditors came to the company and they said, well, we can do pen testing ourselves internally, or we can go outside or hire a different company. So if somebody internally in the company had this certificate, they could have done the pen testing. But now, because the guy who had the certificate in a company is, I think his certificate has expired, so he can't do it. So they'll have to go to an MSP, managed service provider, to get a certified ethical hacker to come and do pen testing. So auditors, they want someone who's certified to do this. So you have to pen test against your vendor, check if the penetration testing was conducted against the supplier. So penetration testing is just, like I said, a simulated attack, similar to a simulated phishing. That exercise that I did send to you guys, that practical exercise. When you get the chance to do it, then you'll see exactly what I mean. And you have to check if the vendor has been audited, right? Before you buy from a vendor, you have to make sure the vendor is trustworthy and the vendor has been audited. by a reliable auditing firm. So you don't just buy from anyone. So as a especially these large companies or these companies which are registered on the stock exchange, they don't just buy IT services from just any other company. So if I have a company and then let's say I'm trying to sell my IT services, maybe software or hardware or anything, I have to be audited by one of these auditing companies for them for a company to give me a contract. And also you can conduct an independent assessment of the vendor if you are not satisfied with the results from the auditors. Okay, let's go here. So what is a supply chain attack? I think this one will be easy. Is it a direct attack on an organization's main server, or is it when attackers attacks? Okay, there you go. That's correct. In this one, which of the following is a safety measure to protect against supply chain attacks? Okay, good. Now let's go here. Okay, I'm gonna share this one. So when you do vendor selection, you have to do this. Conduct due diligence, meaning assess the vendor. Evaluate the financial stability of the vendor. So you don't want to buy from a company and then only to find out that company has issues with their finances. Then 6 months down the line, they are shutting down, they're closing. And then you don't have support for the purchases of the equipment or software that you've bought from them. So you have to check their history, operational history. Have they been in the game for a while? Are they trusted? Like Microsoft has been in the game for many years, so you can buy from them. You also have to check the testimonials from other clients. You have to find out from other clients if they are happy with that product that they bought from them. And you can also check their facilities on the ground to see if they are producing quality that you are satisfied with. And also, when buying from vendors, you need to check for conflict of interest. So, if I work right now, work for a company, they give me an assignment to look for vendors for maybe an email security software that we have to buy. But then maybe my brother works in a company which sells that email security software. Then I decide to go with that vendor. Then that might be looked at as a conflict of interest. And also, vendors must complete a questionnaire So as a company, we have to send them forms which they need to complete. Let me see if I do have that form here. Okay, I'm gonna share another form. Okay, I'm sharing. Okay, share entire screen. Let's see. Okay, let me open documents. So we'll send the vendors a form like this. It's a similar form that they'll have to complete, but it doesn't look exactly like this. They'll have to provide us with the information that shows us that they do follow, they do comply. So whenever we get a vendor in a company, so this is one of those forms which I have to share to them, and they have to provide this information. This information here is basically they are telling us what kind of information is going to be captured by their systems. So, for example, if as a company we are looking for or a new security company that's going to look after us, I'll have to send them a form like this. And then they'll have to give us information to say all the information which they are going to capture of all the employees or all the people who are working inside the building. How are they going to capture it? What are they going to do with it? Where are they going to capture that information? What, how are they going to protect all that information? So this form basically requires all that information and wants them to explain all of that. And this form, this information here, we do it for these people here. There's a government agency called Information Regulator. This is a government institution. These guys, they make the laws in terms of how data should be captured or how the data of the citizens of South Africa should be captured and what are the rights of the citizens of South Africa regarding their personal data. So when somebody or any company wants your information, your ID number, your ID, your physical address, all of that information, all of those, they have to comply with this, with the laws which have been set by this company. So people cannot just take your data and misuse it and do as they please. They have to follow the rules and the laws which have been set by this information regulator. Okay, and then we have to create feedback loops. This just means you have to create communication between the vendor and the company. So if you're buying something from a vendor, there always has to be that open communication. And the relationship between the vendor and the company requires a continuous care and assessment, right? And also there must be contracts and agreements. So when you buy from a vendor, there must be a contract which states who is involved. It will display the roles, the payment structure, the delivery of the product or service, and how it will be delivered, all of that information. Also, there must be an SLA agreement. SLA stands for service level agreement. Basically, how the vendor will deliver the service that you are buying from them. So that SLA agreement basically will give you information regarding how they will deliver you the service and what will happen if they fail to deliver. Okay, here's an example. A provider might state that the downtime will not be longer than 2 hours. 2 hours. If they break that condition, then they will pay the penalty. So a delivery company might have an SLA where they say we deliver within 24 hours. And if we fail to deliver within that 24 hours, then that delivery will be free. So that's an example of an SLA agreement. Let's go to the question. So, what is the difference between a vendor and a supplier? Uh, okay, vendor sells finished products, and a supplier provides components for manufacturing. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, I'm just trying to share the screen. Okay, share. And then this one, a memorandum of agreement. So you need to have this memorandum of agreement with the vendor. It's MOA. Yeah, memorandum of agreement. So when the company tries to get the vendor, there's a lot of process, or there is a process that they must go through. So they must also have this, a memorandum of agreement. This is a legally binding document. If the vendor breaks this document, they are liable. They can be held accountable by the law. So if the vendor was supposed to deliver 2,000 PCs or computers to a company, but they only deliver 1,000, then the company can use this memorandum of agreement to sue the vendor for non-delivery. And then this memorandum of understanding, this one is not legally binding. This one just states the intentions of the vendor, but this one is not legally binding. And then this master service agreement, this one is the overall document that will contain the terms and conditions. It will contain all of this information. It's the master service agreement. Okay, let's see. We got 15 minutes. Okay. And then this one, statement of work document. This one will give the details of the timeline, meaning if they are going to deliver to your company services or products, the statement of work document will have the timelines of when they'll deliver, how much. It will have all the specifics regarding how they will provide that product to your company. Okay, let's go here, and then let's go here. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's go. Okay. Okay, what should organizations check when conducting a vendor assessment? Let's see if you get it. Okay, correct one. Penetration testing. So in the team that I work for, it's like this. Where's Google? Okay, at the top, there's the CISO. This guy is in charge of the cybersecurity in the company. He's here, and then underneath him is the security architect. And then underneath, then it comes, then it's us. It's me here. Then there's another guy here. Then there's another guy here. So we are engineers. So we do the work. I do DLP security. Security awareness, training, governance, data security, and governance. And this one, it does SOC analyst. This one does attestation. It does a lot of reports. They call it attestation. This one designs the security infrastructure. Then us here, we do the operation or the daily operations of the cybersecurity. This one, yeah, he's deals with the strategy or the overall goals of the company in terms of cybersecurity. Okay, let's go back here. Oh, let me log you in. Admit. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go into this one, non-disclosure agreement. So you need to have this agreement with the vendor. So non-disclosure, basically it means it's a legal contract that says that you won't release any confidential information to the public regarding the products or services that you're getting from the vendor. The vendor also agrees that they won't release any sensitive information from your company to the public. So it's an agreement that you both have to sign, and it's legally binding. If anyone breaks this one, they can be sued. So the document will state the consequences of what must happen when a person fails to live up to this agreement. And the last one is this one, business partnership agreement. This one is when two businesses put their resources together to partner for a mutual benefit. So basically, it's like maybe two vendors, they decide they want to come together for a particular project. Maybe as a company, we are looking for a particular service which one vendor cannot provide. So therefore, two vendors decide they'll come together to provide that product or service to a company, and then they will sign this a business partnership agreement, and then they can provide that service to the company. Let's go back. Not here. Here. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Is it here? Okay, there it is. So what does conducting due diligence in vendor selection involve? See, evaluating financial stability, operational is correct. And this one, what are feedback loops in vendor relationships? Remember, yeah, must always have that communication between the vendor and the organization. This one, what is an SLA? Service level agreement. Yeah, this is the right one. It's a service standard of service a client can expect from a provider in terms of quality, time, and penalties. So when a delivery company promises you that they'll deliver in an hour or in one day, and then they say, if we don't meet that standard, then that delivery will be for free. What is the key difference between a memorandum of agreement and memorandum of understanding? Yeah, one is legally binding and the other is not legally binding. And then 11, what is the master service agreement? Yeah, this one is an overall broad document that states the terms and conditions. And then the 12, number 12, what does the statement of work document include? Yeah, it's B, this one. Timelines, milestone goals, specific tasks. And this one, what is the purpose of a non-disclosure agreement? Yeah, to protect information. And what type of malicious hardware can cyber criminals sell in supply chain attacks? Yeah. And 15, what should software suppliers provide to ensure security? So to ensure security, it's going to be this one. So software that is safe and free from malware. Mm. Okay, and then the last one. What is a business partnership agreement? Yeah, when two businesses put their resources together to partner. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll send you the practical exercise that I need you to do for DLP. DLP stands for data loss prevention. Before we go, you guys, if any questions? No questions. Okay. Let's meet again Sunday. In the meantime, I'll send you that practical and some assessments as well. Thank you guys. No? We'll see. We'll talk later. Cool. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm.